Matrix is a system, Neo. That system is our enemy. But when you're inside, you look around, what do you see? Businessmen, teachers, lawyers, carpenters, the very minds of the people we are trying to save. But until we do, these people are still a part of that system, and that makes them our enemy. You have to understand, most of these people are not ready to be unplugged. And many of them are so inert, so hopelessly dependent on the system, that they will fight to protect it. Were you listening to me, Neo? Or were you looking at the woman in the red dress? I was. Look again.
Good day, good day, good day. It's Friday, you know. Should be a fact check Friday. But the definition is stupid. Knowing the truth, seeing the truth, but still believing the lies. So I hope you've been paying attention to this whole week and the information that I've been going over. It does come to a culmination. Tomorrow, I'll give you the punchline. There was a interview done by Mr. Dustin Smith from the Biblical Unitarian podcast, where he did with two Orthodox Jews. And tomorrow, I'm going to do a review of that video and what I feel about that video and the information that was shared and also the lack thereof. So that's what this whole week has really been about. So I'm going to read to you an article called Are All JEWS's Disqualified from Salvation? That's the name of the article. I'm going to put the article in the description for you so you can read it for yourself, but I'm going to read the whole thing because I feel it's definitely pertinent to the days and times we are living in that I believe most Christians are ignorant about. So, the Bible says in Ephesians 5, I'll start at verse 8. It says, "For you were once darkness, but now you are light in the world. Walk as children of light, for the fruit of the Spirit is in all goodness and righteousness and truth, finding out what is acceptable to the Lord. And have no fellowship with the unfruitful works of darkness, but rather expose them. For it is shameful even to speak of those things which are done by them in secret. But all things that are exposed are made manifest by the light. For whatever makes manifest is light. Therefore he says, Awake you who sleep, arise from the dead, and Christ will give you light." Oh, it's here in a thunderstorm. I pray anybody that's outside that y'all are not affected. I pray houses are not affected. Colossians chapter 1. So when you're a born again believer, this is what happens to you. Verse 27, "To them God willed." Who is the them? The saints. "To make known what are the riches of the glory of the mystery among the Gentiles, which is Christ in you, the hope of glory. Him we preach, warning every man and teaching every man in all wisdom, that we may present every man perfect in Christ Jesus." So, we're going to read this article. Now, just a little fun fact, because, I'm not going to spell the word out every time. But, sometimes you will see something called a soft chew. It's like candy. Or I'll say soft chewish. Hopefully you can pick up what I'm putting down. I'll even show you what it looks like. All right, let's begin. In today's world, there are only a handful of people following in what the Old Testament calls the Mosaic Law. The remarkable reality is that there may be only 2,000 good soft chews in the world today. The far biggest conundrum or hoaxes in today's Judaism are, number one, today's Judaism is unrelated to the Old Testament Mosaic Law, and it is best described as Talmudic Phariseeism. Number two, Christian theology states clearly that almost none of today's soft chews can ever even achieve salvation. Number three, there is still no definition of the word soft chew. If a soft chew claims to be a soft chew, he must say in which definition he is trying to apply and why this definition might be valid. So far, no official definition of soft chew exists. Number four, there is still no definition of the word anti-Arabic or anti-Semitic. If a soft chew claims to be a Semite, he must give proof of his Arabic lineage. Example, a DNA test proving his predominantly Arabic DNA, or else a family tree proving his predominantly Arabic genealogy. So far, no official definition of anti-Semitic exists. Okay? The biblical Judeans. The Judeans of the Bible followed the Mosaic Law, and most frequently referred to as the Ten Commandments, and often simply called the Law. In his 2009 book, The Invention of the Soft Jewish People, Shlomo Sand showed that by 300 AD, most of the biblical Judeans had converted to Christ. Then after 632 AD, circa 90% of those Palestinian Christians converted to Islam, yielding the 90-10% Palestinian split that is still present today. Overall, Sand showed that today's Palestinians are the direct descendants of the biblical Judeans, but that the soft Jews of today are mostly Japhetic Europeans who became soft Jews to gain legal access to the usury sector. So modern Judaism is really Talmudic Phariseeism. Modern Judaism was founded in circa 500 AD by Iraqi followers of the evil New Testament Pharisees. They were the first to codify the Babylonian Talmud, i.e., the first written version of the oral law that Jesus so vehemently condemns in the New Testament. These Iraqis were followers of the evil biblical Pharisees and created a false irreligion which is best defined as Talmudic Phariseeism. It is an inconvenient fact that Talmudic Phariseeism is totally unrelated to the Mosaic Law. The Talmud really makes Talmudic Phariseeism the satanic inversion of the Mosaic Law, i.e., the satanic inversion of the biblical Ten Commandments and thus of the Old Testament itself. That is because the satanic Talmud commands the breach of all 10 commandments. It says because most members of Talmudic Phariseeism are not genuine soft Jews, they must correctly be styled soft Jews. The bifurcation of Judaism in 500 AD. It must be reiterated that essentially Judaism bifurcated in circa 500 AD when Talmudic Phariseeism today A mislabeled Judaism was founded as the satanic inversion of the law of the Old Testament. That means that today's Judaism is unrelated to biblical Judaism, and that today's soft Jews are wholly unrelated to the biblical Judeans. Also, Johns Hopkins proved that 97.5% of today's soft Jews are Japhetic, and thus not even Semitic. Christian theology confirms that there were no more soft Jews after 50 AD. In his epistle to the Galatians, written around 48 to 49 AD, St. Paul teaches that all of humanity is united, especially as one spiritual family in Christ. Galatians 3:28 says, "There is neither Jew nor Gentile, neither slave nor free, nor is there male and female. You are all one in Christ Jesus." Thus, strict Christian theology says there are in fact no soft Jews. And this concept is also called supersessionism, i.e., the theological doctrine that the Christian church superseded ancient Israel as God's chosen people, i.e., the new covenant in Jesus Christ rendered the Mosaic covenant obsolete. Thus, the foremost duty of anyone trying to masquerade as a soft Jew today is to convert. Theologically, there are no special groups such as soft Jews. Okay? Talmudic soft Jews. Both Exodus 20 and Deuteronomy chapter 5 list the 10 commandments and also demand every human being to obey them to gain salvation. Some Old Testament verses that describe the consequences of disobedience include Deuteronomy chapter 28 verse 15 through 68, Leviticus chapter 26 verse 14 through 46, in Exodus 21 verse 12 through 17, and Leviticus chapter 20 verse 10 through 13. However, in the Satanic Talmud either commands or condones the breach of all 10 commandments. Its version 1.0 was codified in Iraq in circa 500 AD. And the Satanic Talmud commands or condones genocide, in particular the genocide of all Christians, murder, human sacrifices, child rape, adultery, theft, coveting one's neighbor's wife and goods, bearing false witness, lying, cheating, adultery, breaking the Sabbath, dishonoring one's parents, blaspheming God's name, usury, plundering other people's land, killing other people's animals, and wiping out whole nations, especially all subhuman nations, wars of aggression, slavery, especially the enslavement of all subhuman races, taking over the world. Thus, the Babylonian Talmud is, in all actual fact, quite literally, the satanic inversion of the 10 Commandments. Overall, this means that soft Jews who follow the Satanic Talmud are highly unlikely to gain salvation. Non-religious soft Jews. According to the Old Testament, it says receiving God's salvation requires faith, trust, and a personal relationship with Him. And the term non-religious soft Jew is a nasty oxymoron that effectively means non-religious religious. Anyone who is non-religious simply cannot be classed as a soft Jew. Hence, non-religious soft Jews are certainly not even soft Jews. One of the craziest paradoxes in the world is that over 50% of soft Jews call themselves non-religious soft Jews, while simultaneously claiming to be God's chosen people. This prompts this very obvious question. How can a soft Jew be one of God's chosen people if that soft Jew does not even believe in God? Because the Old Testament requires belief in God for salvation. Any folks attempting to masquerade as non-religious soft Jews are highly unlikely to gain salvation. Some non-religious soft chews call themselves atheistic soft chews, but atheistic soft chews are also highly unlikely to gain salvation for the very same reason. Now, Kabbalistic soft chews. In the Black Magic, Kabbalah gives detailed knowledge to anyone wanting to start an advance in Satanism, notably concerning demonology, witchcraft, black magic, placing curses, casting spells, fortune telling, astrology, gematria, and necromancy. Its core document is the Zohar, which contains a weaponized curse called the Pulsa Dinera. Holy rabbis have boasted they used it to kill many opponents. And the Zohar also contains the prophecy of Yasud, which confirms that Kabbalistic soft chews began their campaign to genocide all Christians in 1840 AD. In his new comment on Liber Alveligis, circa 1920 to 1923, and British Satanist Aleister Crowley praised the black magic, Kabbalah, as the universal language of black magic. Note, Crowley styled black magic as magic, says because the black magic Kabbalah is very obviously demonic, and because British Satanist Aleister Crowley even lauded it as such by Kabbalistic soft chews are highly unlikely to gain salvation. Zionist soft chews. Zionism is a satanic and criminal conspiracy that was created by the Zionist House of Rothschild and the English monarchy, and its main goal is to install the Antichrist, also called the soft chewish Messiah or Mashiach ben David, in Jerusalem, from whence he is planned to rule the Talmudic New NWO, New World Order, for 1,000 years. But because Zionism is a satanic conspiracy, Zionist soft chews are highly unlikely to gain salvation. Anti-Zionist soft chews. In the USA, in roughly 7% to 14% of soft chews identify as anti-Zionist, depending on the age group. However, if these anti-Zionist soft chews are still following the Satanic Talmud and the Black Magic Kabbalah or the Satanic Tanya, they still have satanic rules. All soft chews need to renounce those demonic books and instead follow the Old Testament. Because anti-Zionist soft chews are most likely still following the Satanic Talmud and the Black Magic Kabbalah or the Satanic Tanya, that implies that even anti-Zionist soft chews are highly unlikely to gain salvation. Now we're on to the Bolshevik Zionist soft chews. So Bolshevik Zionist soft chews orchestrated the genocide of 77 million Russians and East Europeans in 1917 to 1991, of 100 million Chinese in 1949 to 1969, and another 10 million in the combo of Korea, Vietnam, and Cambodia. They included Leon Trotsky, his other name is Lev Bronstein, Gregory Zinoviev, Hersh Applebaum, that's his other name, Lazar Kagnovich, and Lazar Kahan Cognate of Cohen, Lev Borisovich Kanaviv, his surname was Lev Rosenfeld, and Maxim Litvinov, his surname is Mir Henok Wallach, and Mikhail Lashevich, Mose Uritsky, Genrik Yogata, Julius Martov, His surname is Uli Osipovich Sidorbaum. Alexander Parvis, his surname was Israel Lazarevich Gilfan. Yakov Ganetsky, his surname is Jacob Furtensberg. Gregory Lucas. Bella Kuhn, surname Moritz Cohen. Yakov Sverdlov. Karl Radick, his surname is Karol Sabelson. Is Willie Musenberg. Gregory Sokolnikov, his surname Hertz Brilliant. Yakov Yurovsky. V. Vodarsky, his surname is Moshe Goldstein. Yakov Adalitsky, his surname is Yakov Phoenixstein. Yakov Yokolev, his surname is Yakov Epstein. Semyon Demanstein. Flip Golos Shikon, his surname is Shayla Itiskovich. Carol Libnik. Rosa Luxemburg. Kurt Eisner. Emil Barth. Philip Schneiderman. Paul Levy. Karl Radick. Lev Meklis. Jacob Burnham. Matthias Rotuski. Anna Puker, surname Hannah Robinson. Yuri Steklov, surname Ovshay Imosevich Inakomikis. Fyodor Dan, surname Fyodor Vervich. Yuri Larin, surname Yuri Lurie. Mark Natterson. Stalin, surname Lusub Dizhuvli, allegedly part soft Jewish. And Vladimir Lenin, surname Vladimir Ilyich Uvanov, definitely part soft Jewish. And today's Bolshevik Zionism is being installed in the United States and Western Europe, is where the Noahide laws prescribe the decapitation of all Christians. It says because Bolshevik Zionism really launched a Talmudic religious war for the genocide of Christians and other non-Jewish Bolshevik Zionist Jews are unlikely to gain salvation. So now we're going by the soft Jews by race. There is no soft Jewish race, because multiple races identify as, you guessed it, soft Jewish. These include African Felicia soft Jews, Chinese Kafing soft Jews, Arabic Mizrahi soft Jews, Japhetic European Ashkenazi soft Jews, who are mainly German, Polish, Russian, Romanian, and Lithuanian, etc. Says the biggest group of soft Jews is Ashkenazi, is which formerly meant Rhineland German. Most soft Jews are Japhetic Europeans unrelated to Abraham, i.e., they are not even Semites. And because racial soft Jews are lying about being a race, all soft Jews who claim to be soft Jewish by race are bearing false witness. So for this commandment breach alone, they are highly unlikely to gain salvation. So now we're moving on to the chosen soft Jews. In Deuteronomy 28, verse 58 through 63, Moses warns the Judeans that they are certain to lose their chosen status and be ruined if they disobey the Ten Commandments. If you do not carefully observe all the words of this law that are written in this book, that you may fear this glorious and awesome name the Lord your God, then ... It shall be that just as the Lord rejoiced over you to do you good and multiply you, so the Lord will rejoice over you to destroy you and bring you to nothing. And you shall be plucked from off the land which you go to possess. However, when Talmudic Phariseeism, today and mislabeled Judaism, was founded in circa 500 AD, its new guidebook, the Satanic Talmud, commanded or condoned the breach of all 10 commandments. Thus, Deuteronomy proves that today's chosen soft shoes were never chosen to begin with. Thus, all chosen soft shoes are lying about being chosen, since the Satanic Talmud caused all soft shoes to lose their chosen status in circa 500 AD. Thus, soft shoes who claim to be chosen are bearing false witness, so they are highly unlikely to gain salvation. Messianic soft shoes. Generally, in mainstream Messianic soft shoes reject the Satanic Talmud, but opinions vary greatly. Some Messianic soft shoes still incorporate Talmudic traditions, such as celebrating Hanukkah, which was added to the Talmud in circa 1200, or wearing a skull cap, whose display is commanded by Talmud verses Shabbat 118b, Shabbat 156b, and Kedushin 31a. Furthermore, some Messianic soft shoes retain the black magic Kabbalah, which is dark occult mysticism, whereas other Messianic soft shoes retain the satanic Tanya. Overall, is Messianic soft shoes can only gain salvation if they firmly renounce each of the Satanic Talmud, the black magic Kabbalah, and the satanic Tanya. One prominent black magic Kabbalist who masquerades as a Messianic soft shoe and as a holy rabbi is Jonathan Kahnman, real name Jonathan Kahn. But it is not possible to gain salvation by claiming to accept Jesus and then also following the black magic Kabbalah. So, maybe only 1,000 Messianic soft shoes in the world are good soft shoes. It says, because one cannot serve two masters, and Messianic soft shoes are highly unlikely to gain salvation if they do not firmly reject and renounce the Satanic Talmud, the black magic Kabbalah, and the satanic Tanya. Now, we're going to the supremacist soft shoes. Today, a growing portion of soft shoes embrace Nazi ideologies like the soft shoeish super race, the kingship of the soft shoes, or the Antichrist, soft shoeish Messiah, Mashiach ben David, granting 2,800 Goyim livestock to each soft shoe as his slaves in perpetual promise by verse Shabbat 32b in the Satanic Babylonian Talmud. This is basic Nazism, and by which the soft Jewish super race gets to genocide most of the Goyim livestock, then enslave the remnant, and finally gets to be worshipped forever as the super race by any surviving Goyim livestock. As many supremacist soft Jews think they own heaven on account of being the soft Jewish super race, so they automatically qualify for a place there. Furthermore, is when the time comes, is they will command God to give them their place, or else slur him as anti-Arabic for discriminating against the holy soft Jews. Overall, supremacist soft Jews are in fact pernicious Nazis who are highly unlikely to gain salvation. idolatrous and polytheistic soft Jews. Soft Jews who worship strange gods are disobeying the first commandment. It says many holy rabbis say it is okay and cool if soft Jews worship Molech, Baal, Remphan, Lucifer, Satan, the devil, whom holy rabbis call Holy Universal Serpent. It says the male Kabbalistic demon, Ein Sof, the female Kabbalistic demon, Shekinah, the Kabbalistic demon, Lilith, who Satanists also worship as the first witch, Mammon, the devil of wealth and material illusions, the soft Jewish people as a whole, and also soft Jews who even worship themselves, the most evil form of idolatry. All the holy rabbis who, for centuries, encouraged and practiced the tolerance of such demon worship ultimately ensured that only a tiny minority of today's soft Jews is monotheistic. Overall, because idolatrous and polytheistic soft Jews are breaking the first commandment, they are highly unlikely to gain salvation. Soft Jews who claim to be holy rabbis. Soft Jews who claim to be holy rabbis are hiding the Old Testament from their victims, ordinary soft Jews, so as to conceal the at least 300 Old Testament references to Jesus. Instead, these holy rabbis raise the satanic Talmud of the black magic Kabbalah and the satanic Tanya above the godly Old Testament so as to hide the truth from their victims. This terrible crime alone implies that most holy rabbis as well may well be dedicated Satanists. Also, since many of these holy rabbis only declare themselves to be holy rabbis so as to gain financial advantage via a tax-free status. Of course, anyone who criticizes this monetized or capitalized approach to religion will be denounced swiftly as anti-Arabic. It says because most soft Jews are dumb and think they are Arabs. In 500 to 900 AD, the holy rabbis decided to contradict the Old Testament by inventing 7 heavens. It says worse, the holy rabbis deceived their victims, ordinary soft Jews, into thinking a soft Jew cannot go to Gehenna, hell, forever. It says the worst sentence being only 12 months. Is the holy rabbis also claim that hell is not entirely physical, but can actually be compared to a feeling of very intense shame. Crimes such as hiding the Old Testament and making hell seem harmless, is which contradicts the Old Testament, and condoning polytheism and idolatry mean that most holy rabbis are highly unlikely to gain salvation. Soft Jews who merely follow dietary laws. Soft Jews are not automatically holy if they merely follow the dietary laws called kashrut. According to the Old Testament, God's salvation can only be received by obedience and not by just keeping a set of man-made laws like kashrut. The far more relevant question is not whether soft Jews follow the kashrut, but whether soft Jews simultaneously follow the satanic Talmud or the satanic Tanya or the black magic Kabbalah. The Old Testament makes clear that is more important to obey the 10 Commandments than to separate meat from dairy, or to avoid boiling a kid in its mother's milk, or to avoid non-kosher, i.e. not ritually slaughtered meat. Is the kashrut are irrelevant compared to following the commandments or disobeying them by following the satanic Talmud. So, soft Jews are highly likely to gain salvation by merely following dietary laws. Highly unlikely. So the divining soft shoes. Says the western wall of Jerusalem's Fort Antonia is yet another fake because it is unrelated to the Second Temple. Says when devout soft shoes engage in the lewd ceremony called divining at Jerusalem's Fort Antonia, they thrust their hips back and forth to urge an erotic union between the male Kabbalistic demon Ein Sof and the female Kabbalistic demon Shekinah. At Jerusalem's Fort Antonia, some devout Jews, soft Jews, also pray for help from the Kabbalistic demon Lilith, whose Satanists also in parallel worship openly as the first witch. Is when devout soft Jews and Zionists blackmailed puppeticians, as in DJT, Barry Sartoro, Joe Biden, Bush, both of them, pray to demons at Jerusalem's western wall. They are declaring that they are willing to worship at the altar of the Antichrist to bring the Talmudic NWO. But because this divining ceremony is fundamentally demonic, all these devout divining soft Jews on their Zionist, on their Zionist blackmailed puppeticians are highly unlikely to gain salvation. Now, the next set, the Sabbatean Frankist soft shoes. Now, the Sabbatean Frankist soft shoes are Luciferians who seek to balance their good deeds with equal and opposite evil deeds in emulation of their founder, Sabbatai Zebi, the Antichrist, and of his successor, Jacob Frank, also an Antichrist. Thus, for instance, if Sabbatean Frankist soft shoes help 1 million Japhetic soft Jewish children in the Antichrist state of Israel, they automatically feel the moral obligation to genocide 1 million Palestinian children in the Gaza Holocaust. But being Luciferian, Sabbatean Frankist soft Jews are highly unlikely to gain salvation. Now, Chabad soft Jews. The Gnostic dualist Luciferian Chabad is a satanic doomsday sect whose official ideology is Zeo-fascist, or Zeo-Nazi in nature. It regards soft Jews as the super race and openly seeks the genocide of most Christians, whom it labels pagan idolaters, and the enslavement of any surviving Christians. It permits soft Jews to be both polytheistic and idolatrous. The soft Jewish super race is free to worship strange gods and disobey the first commandment. In 1796, the Holy Chabad Rabbi Shuner Zalman of Liadi wrote the Satanic Tanya as the core Chabad guidebook that is very similar to Hitler's Mein Kampf. Its chapter 1 says Christians are pagan idolaters whose souls originate from klipat, impure shells, and do not possess any inherent divine goodness. In this way, the Satanic Tanya reiterates hateful statements contained in both the Satanic Talmud, Satanic Talmud and the Black Magic Kabbalah. The Chabad is a prime example of how genocide became a religion in Mein Kampf and became a holy book. Chabad soft Jews are obvious Satanists who double as Zeo-Nazis. Their theology is genocide, and they seek the kingship of the soft Jews, the super race. Chabad soft Jews are very unlikely to gain salvation. So now we're going to go with the soft Jews who intermarry with Goyim livestock. To prevent from straying from Judaism and to protect the soft Jewish super race from being polluted by assimilation with subhuman Goyim livestock, the Satanic Talmud strictly forbids soft Jews from marrying the non-soft Jews. However, it stops short of formally expelling any soft Jew for the heinous crime of marrying a head of Goyim livestock. Sample verses from the Satanic Talmud that concern intermarriage. Talmud Tractate Avodah Zarah 36b decrees a general ban prohibiting soft Jews from marrying non-soft Jews. It explicitly forbids a soft Jewish man from marrying a shiksa or whore. All Gentile women are called prostitutes. The Talmud Tractate Yuvamat 23a. It details the familial dangers for the case where a soft Jew chooses to marry a non-soft Jew, warning that non-soft Jewish spouses could lead children astray from soft Jewish traditions. Example, from the very traditions contained in the Satanic Talmud itself, which include the breach of all 10 commandments. And also the Talmud Tractate Kudishin 68b condemns intermarriage with non-soft Jewish by classifying this as a severe prohibition and by listing repercussions like severing ties with the soft Jewish man who marries a shitska or whore. It says the Satanic Talmud and the Black Magic Kabbalah teach that marriage is not just a union between two totally independent individuals, but the reunion between two halves of the same unit. It says, but the Satanic Tanya teaches that a non-soft Jewish originates from klipat, impure shells, so that a non-soft Jew is not suitable for reunion with a soft Jew, because a head of subhuman Goyim livestock must never marry into the soft Jewish super race. In the Gemara, the Satanic Talmud teaches that any marriage between a soft Jew and a non-soft Jew is invalid, ineffective. In parallel, the Satanic Talmud implies that any soft Jew who has a non-soft Jewish spouse, it must require that spouse to sleep in a basket in the garage and to never get on the furniture, because it simultaneously decrees that all non-soft Jews are animals. Theologically, soft Jews who marry is with Goyim livestock are also highly unlikely to gain salvation, especially if they have the same problems and issues as all other soft Jews. Wow. So now let's talk about the Karaite soft Jews. The Karaite soft Jews made a great start, and by rejecting the Satanic Talmud, the Black Magic Kabbalah, and the Satanic Tanya. But statistics suggest they are only roughly 35,000 to 50,000 Karaite soft Jews in the world today. However, it says no one knows how many Karaite soft Jews identify as belonging to the other subgroups of imperfect soft Jews, including the non-religious soft Jews, Zionist soft Jews, Bolshevik Zionist soft Jews by race, chosen soft Jews, supremacist soft Jews, idolatrous and polytheistic soft Jews who claim to be holy rabbis, soft Jews who merely follow dietary laws, divining soft Jews, Chabad soft Jews, etc. Overall, might even be the case that there are only as few as 1,000 Karaite soft Jews in the world today who are good soft Jews. Conclusions. There is still no definition of the word soft chew. If a soft chew claims to be a soft chew, he must says which definition he is trying to apply and why this definition might be valid. So far, no official definition of soft chew exists. There is still no definition of the word anti-Arabic or anti-Semitic. If a soft Jew claims to be a Semite, he must give proof of his Arabic lineage, a DNA test proving his predominantly Arabic DNA, or else a family tree providing his predominantly Arabic genealogy. So far, no official definition of anti-Semitic exists. Is most soft Jews who claim they are soft Jews are not genuine soft Jews on the basis of the godly Old Testament. Is most soft Jews who claim they are soft Jews are not even genuine soft Jews on the basis of the Satanic Talmud. There is no such thing as a soft Jew or as soft Jews because every soft Jew has a different definition of soft Jew. Is most soft Jews are fake soft Jews. There may only be as few as 2,000 genuine soft Jews in the world today. Soft Jews do not even exist and have not existed since Talmudic Phariseeism was founded in circa 500 AD. So, how can these soft Jews how soft Jews can still gain salvation? 17 steps. There may be only 1,000 Messianic soft Jews and 1,000 Karaite soft Jews in the world who qualify as good soft Jews. It is only these perhaps 2,000 soft Jews in total today who might qualify for salvation. It says no one knows the mercy of God, but at the moment, apart from these 2,000 good soft Jews in the world, the entire remainder appears to be lost. It says, but soft Jews can still gain salvation if they work hard and take the following 17 steps. You ready? All right. Number 1, accept Jesus Christ as your Messiah. Number 2 is follow the Old Testament and heed its more than 300 verses that identify Jesus as the Messiah. Number 3, to follow the Old Testament and heed its dozens of verses that describe hell as a place of eternal torment. Number 4, reject the holy rabbis who seek to hide the Old Testament from their victims, ordinary soft Jews, who dupe their victims by making hell seem harmless, who condone polytheism and idolatry among soft Jews, and who raise holy demonic books above the godly Old Testament. Number 5, to renounce the Satanic Talmud. Number 6, to renounce Black Magic Kabbalah. Number 7, to renounce the Satanic Tanya. Number 8, to renounce Zionism, whose real goal is to install the Antichrist in Jerusalem. Number 9, to renounce Bolshevik Zionism, which is really the genocide of the non-soft Jews pursuant to the Satanic Talmud. Number 10, to renounce the bogus concept of a soft Jewish race. Number 11, to renounce Jewish supremacism, thus also removing the bogus concept of the soft Jewish super race. To renounce idolatry and polytheism, and both of which are extremely widespread among soft Jews today. Number 13, to renounce the demonic practice and lewd ceremony called divining. Number 14, to renounce genocide by the Antichrist state of Israel. Also renounce the genocide of Germans, Arabs, Russians, East Europeans, Chinese, etc., which was all done by Zionist and Bolshevik Zionist forces. Number 15, to renounce the Gnostic dualistic Luciferian Chabad, the genocidal doomsday sect Chabad Lubavitch. Number 16, to renounce is that the soft Jews of today are not chosen because they lost that status in circa 500 AD. And renounce that most soft chews of today are not soft chews by the Old Testament's Deuteronomic definition. So, last part, let I turn it over. So, if the soft chews can complete these 17 steps and then confess their sins and obey the 10 commandments, is they will stand a chance of gaining salvation. If they cannot, their prospects of salvation appear to be pretty dismal. One of the saddest things of all today is that the vast majority of the soft chewish are not even close to salvation. So, God willing, the next video you will see is the review of Mr. Dustin Smith, Ph.D., and the 2 Orthodox Jews. So, remember, the definition is stupid: knowing the truth, seeing the truth, but still believing the lies. 2 Thessalonians says we must be lovers of truth or we will fall for a grand delusion. So we're going to see who fell for the grand delusion in this wonderful review. To the next.